Get down in the comments. Tell me, do you agree with the decision or do you disagree? Tell me why. Hit the like. Let me lay out my scorecards. First three go to BIVOL, but I noted that in the third, BETERBIEV was starting to step in and cut off BIVOL laterally with body shots, like the right hook to the body that I was talking about before this when I wrongly predicted the outcome. Next three rounds, so rounds 4, 5, 6, go to BETERBIEV, but 4 and 5 were close, at least by my reckoning, by the way I saw things. I noted that in the sixth round, BIVOL was starting to implement more and more the path to victory that I saw for him, which was landing heavy shots, throwing heavy combos, trying to hurt BETERBIEV. In a sense, in one way, he had to be less aggressive by doing even more lateral movement than last time. But then in another way, he had to be more aggressive by really trying to sit down on his shots. And he did both of those things to a greater degree than he did in the last fight, which is why I think he won this pretty clean. And yeah, he's trying to hurt BETERBIEV, not just score on him. Overall, I saw a more aggressive attitude from BIVOL. And if anything, BETERBIEV was more reserved in this second fight based on what I was seeing, especially in the latter half of the fight. When we look at those middle rounds, 7, 8, 9, these are much slower rounds and they were mostly fought on the outside. So BIVOL won these rounds pretty comfortably. So it's 6-3 going into the last three rounds, 10, 11, and 12. And so we're 6-3 going into those rounds. In the 10th round, BETERBIEV puts his feet on the gas a little bit more, and I think it's kind of a swing round, but I gave that round to BETERBIEV. And then also what I say is I'm confident that BIVOL deserved the victory for the same reason that I'm confident that he won the first time, which is that he was just the much cleaner puncher for the most part. His shots, when they land, they weren't really landing through the guard, whereas BETERBIEV, a lot of his stuff would puncture through the guard just because of how heavy his hands are. But BIVOL would land straight where he needed to without having to land through any obstacles, right? Round 11, I give to BIVOL, and round 12, I see BETERBIEV look like he might be going for the finish in like the last 50 seconds. And I think BIVOL was hurt towards the end. And so I gave round 12 to BETERBIEV. So the score ends up being 7-5. Which is identical to two of the judges' scorecards. I think they had it 115, 113, or maybe they had it 116, 114. But regardless, I think you could score 7-5 or 8-4 BIVOL. But if you were given some extra swing rounds to BETERBIEV, you could call it a draw. But I don't see him winning this one because he took his foot off the gas in too many rounds. In order for BETERBIEV to win a clean decision like how I predicted, or stop BIVOL like I said was a possibility, I said BETERBIEV would have to up the aggressiveness. And a very important point I focused on was when BIVOL opened up, instead of resetting and backing up like BETERBIEV likes to do in this first and in the second fight, he would have to walk through some fire and land some shots. Right, he would have to take some damage, but he had his hands in his pockets for a few rounds, not just a couple rounds, a few rounds. He was low activity, low volume, and I thought that for the most part, if anything was going to stop BETERBIEV from getting more aggressive in the second fight, it was going to be his unwillingness to take some of the punishment from BIVOL. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe BIVOL really implemented heavy shots the way I thought he should, because I think he hurt BETERBIEV a couple times in this fight. I think they've hurt each other a few times in both fights combined. But yeah, BIVOL, he was a dog. BIVOL, he didn't just come to box. He knew that he had to work and land some heavy shots and fight back, right? Because he was in there with BETERBIEV, who wasn't just gonna box, and BIVOL didn't just box. But when he had the opportunity to, he would keep it a boxing match. But yeah, since BETERBIEV thought twice about coming in, the fight stayed on the outside, and that's BIVOL's perfect range, and so BIVOL just outdid him. For either one of them to win, aggression was going to be the key. Controlled and poignant aggression. For Artur, that aggression was going to look like a lot of body shots. It was going to look like a lot of cutting off lateral movement with right hooks and overhands to the body and up top, which he did do at times, but not consistently enough throughout the fight, right? He wasn't consistent. And yeah, BIVOL was more consistent, right? And the other thing is trading instead of backing up in response to combos. That didn't really happen. He did back up a lot when BIVOL would open up with the combos. Now, again, we saw shades of him trying to trade, but not consistently enough. And in fact, I think BETERBIEV took him into deep waters in the first fight, and that's why I expected he was going to build off of that and start quicker and try and take him into deep waters in the second fight. But if anything, BIVOL was doing better in most of the later rounds. Now, at the very end of the fight, like I said, I think BETERBIEV hurt him, but BIVOL did great down the last stretch, especially compared to last time. For BIVOL, his aggression was going to look like combos and sitting down on heavy shots, and he did a great job of building off the lateral movement. And this time, compared to last time, he didn't really stop laterally moving. When he needed to circle out and move laterally, he just did it, and his legs held up, his endurance held up. And in the first fight, there were some rounds where he ran out of gas and his legs stopped, and BETERBIEV caught up to him, and that's why, you know, in a lot of people's eyes, BETERBIEV won that fight. In this fight, BIVOL did a good job of controlling his aggression in the right spurts, and when BETERBIEV would put his foot on the gas, BIVOL would disengage and laterally move, and he had enough endurance to keep that up for all 12 rounds. But yeah, to finish this off, BIVOL just had so many clean combos, and he hurt BETERBIEV a couple times, right? Which in this fight, to me, as far as ensuring victory, that was going to be the most important thing. Can BIVOL hit BETERBIEV hard enough and consistent enough to make him think twice about just coming forward and barging in? Because I thought BETERBIEV was going to be like, I don't care what you hit me with, I'm just going to walk through and I'm going to attack that body. And at times he was like that, but that's times. For the most part, when BIVOL was blasting him, BETERBIEV would kind of slow down, and that's exactly what BIVOL needed, and that's exactly what BETERBIEV did not need. So you could argue a draw, but I would say 7-5 BIVOL, possibly 8-4. I would say that's all, but we got some science to get to later, so stick around. Notification bell on. You gotta subscribe before you do that, though. We already got 2 analyses up, 2 short, brief analyses, and we got more coming, especially with this last fight, so stick around. I'll see y'all later.